everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Monster Noire. We have rebranded the Looming 20s because it looked clunky on Twitch and as far as names went, so now we have a new name for the same game that we try and play at least once a month because we can't help but come back to it because we love it so much. And speaking of things that we love with all of our hearts, today is November 13th, 2019, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that I like to say at the beginning of each and every single one of these sessions because we believe it wholeheartedly. And if you liked hearing that message and you would like to hear it more often, consider checking us out on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Thursdays during our regular streams. And you can hear all of that same message again, but if this is your first time checking it out, don't worry. You can check out all of the VODs that we have at youtube.com/indooradventures. And if you are more of an audio-oriented individual, consider checking us out anywhere podcasts are available under the same moniker. Now, if you already support the show by listening, watching, or otherwise being a part of the Discord, perhaps there's a link below. Consider joining us at patreon.com/indooradventures, where you can gain access to our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other, but also from the community at large. And hey, if you already support us on Patreon, you already support us on Twitch, and you are looking for a more comfortable means of supporting, may I suggest going to, now this link is new, so I have to recheck out what I switched it to, but if you go to merch indoor as a bit.ly, so bit.ly/merchindoor, you can gain access to our currently limited supply of merch, but we're adding more stuff. There is just currently an issue with Teespring where they are not recognizing that I have a PayPal set up for this kind of thing. So, hey Teespring, get on it. I want to give people merch through you. But, that is it for my spiel. So, Satan, who you play tonight?
Hello, my name's Satan, and I'll be playing our favorite vampire mob boss, Lilith, who is currently an opossum, so that's really fun. We'll see.
All right.
Just
And Wings, who you playing?
I'm playing Haka, who is a detective of the paranormal. And yeah, Wings is my name. Don't you forget it.
I thought it was Danae Keener at DanaeKeener.com.
DanaeKeener.com?
The exact same one.
All right. And
Mic drop, walk away.
Jen, who you playing tonight?
I'm playing Beltane Hawthorne, the Fae castaway from the Court of Light, and currently in the service of Lilith as a mobster.
And I am the indoor adventurer, and tonight I'm going to be playing Hazel Harker, the psychic vampire flapper girl. I have fun with it, I suppose. GB, take us away!
Hello, I'm Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and I wrote this game at 1 a.m. the day before we began playing it. So we have had an excellent time, and it's always been so good that we couldn't just make it a 1-shot, that it became a 2-shot and then a 4-shot, and now we try to play it every month. So with that in mind, let's see if I can remember other than Lilith. Well, first off, it was All Hallows Eve, and the veil was thin. Should I explain the world a little bit beforehand,
yeah,
or
if you
should we
wouldn't
jump
mind.
in? Okay, so the setting is such that it's if you like Hellboy, you like Supernatural, any of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, any of those, the world is supernatural. There is a veil that protects mundanes from the monsters that are there in the dark, and so on certain holidays and phases and fae incursions, the veil gets thin, and people can start seeing monsters and whatnot. Now, with that said, we're taking place on All Hallows Eve, and a fog mysteriously rolled into the Lilith's estate, where everyone was gathered, and it swarmed over them, and they got split up. And when they got split up in said fog, different things were happening. Now, the only one I can remember right off the top of my head was Lilith was turned into a possum and was running from hillbillies who were trying to shoot her with shotguns, which normally a vampirist such of her age and caliber would take the shot from them and then shred them and drink and feast on their blood. But if you guys could all remind me where everyone else was, that'd be fantastic.
I had them slightly written down, if it helps. So, Rue was a newsie, and Hazel was a forgotten child because I was rescued out of a burnt-out building because our dad fell asleep smoking a cigarette, and we were, like, lost but together, I guess, because I was being taken away by firemen people, but I at least, like, saw my sister. And then I have written down Beltane is regretting his life choices.
That's him every second of every day.
Because you were able to meet with the Greek man Dionysus.
The first human you ever met.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. Anything to add to that, Beltane, that I can remember that you can remember?
Witnessed the burning of the Library of Alexandria.
Yes, and you were given choices, and you chose to plunge humanity into darkness.
Hey, it happens.
These are things. Okay, and so Rue, you were a newsie, but you and your sister were still together. You were just reliving the night that your apartment burned down and whatnot. Correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Beltane went Dark Souls on them. Good, Ignore. All right. With that, let's go back to our Harker sisters. And again, to set the mood, it is a dark night. Their father had fallen asleep. I believe your mother was at work. No?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't she there?
She was there. It was your parents and Hazel were in the apartment. You had gone to get more money because you had more jobs.
I was at work.
Yeah.
You were at work.
Yes, the newsie. The
child labor laws.
Yeah, it's the 1920s. All right. Yeah, so we're back there. You guys are out. Your mother is covering for your father, so he isn't hauled away to jail. Your little sister is being held by a fire person, and Rue was getting lippy, if I remember correctly.
That's true.
And so let's go straight from there. Rue, what are you going to say to these firemen who are holding your sister?
Are they not letting me see her?
Well, it's more of a, you walked up afterwards and you're being held out by like police officers or whatever, being kept away, and or by the fire personnel. You weren't allowed to go in there, and you can see the fireman holding your sister talking to her.
That right there, that's my house, and that's my sister. You gotta let me in.
Hold on here, kid. Just wait a second. Go ahead and give me either a moxie to like bark them down or a charm to try to get past them.
Gonna do a moxie.
All right. And
if if there comes a point where it seems like he's not going to listen to me, I will just try and run past him.
All right.
I'm small. I'll go right between his legs.
All right.
Let's see. 8.
Oh, okay. He's like, all right, if that's your sister, you go right to her. And like I said, you can see your mother over there arguing with either the fire marshal or a police officer about your father. But you don't, maybe you can hear it, like maybe she shrieks out a little, he didn't blah, blah, something like that, so you know that that's going on. And you run up towards Hazel. Your sister's running up to you.
Hazel is going to look at her sister and just start crying.
Oh no.
Just kid, no, like there's no like, oh, it's not like every kid cries ugly. That is a known fact. So Hazel is just like, like there's like snot. It is, Hazel is cute as a button. Not in this moment.
Okay. Hey, Haze. It's okay. We're right here. And she grabs her. Yeah, a little cloud of smoke comes out of her mouth. She's gonna get out like a handkerchief and like spit in it and like start like wiping the ashes off of her face and all the soot and gunk. And she's all like, "Look, hey, we're all in one piece. It's fine. We're all gonna be okay."
They left me.
Who left you?
And just like hugs into sister again and like just pushing her face into your shoulder to like clean up her own face, but yeah, dirtying your clothes for sure.
Like,
That
Hazel
is
crying.
the sound of Hazel crying.
It's Ron Burgundy in the phone booth.
Come here, sweetheart.
All right, so
I was trying to figure out whose cat that was.
That's
It's
Frankie.
always me.
Always
Lord
Frankie.
Dickhead.
Lord Dickhead in the flesh.
But Hazel will explain that like she'll tell her sister, well, Dad was smoking and he fell asleep again and they started burning.
Fucking dick bag. She just grips Hazel like really hard, and she's like, and Mom's gonna try and cover for him. I just know it.
That's what she's doing now.
And you can see in the distance they had him pulled out of the apartment and laying on like a stretcher or whatever. Like, oh no, he succumbed to the smoke. But now they're realizing that he's just a drunk and he's just blasted, blackout drunk. And she's trying to cover for him that, oh, he worked a long day and this and that. And if I remember correctly, he doesn't even have a job right now.
No.
So,
Right.
So you see that happening. Are you going to do anything about that, Rue?
Heck yes. I'm gonna is my sister small enough that I can carry her?
It'll be close. How close are you guys? 2 years? Did we say? Or was it more?
I don't know if we ever established this.
Well, let's establish it.
We didn't.
5 years.
You're a youngin', right?
Yeah.
Can we say that we're just under 10 years apart, maybe 8-ish apart?
Really? That far? Okay. Well, that would make sense, because then when you were ready to leave home, she could have come with you pretty quickly.
Yeah. I want to say that we were both accidents.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Dad didn't really plan much of anything, let's be honest here.
God.
All right.
like Rue definitely was a kid that, sorry, Cat is pressing buttons now.
Okay.
Rue definitely was the shotgun wedding baby.
Okay.
And then Hazel came much later.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So then, yeah, definitely you could carry Hazel.
Yeah. So I'm gonna carry my little sister over to the cops. And I'm gonna jump in front of my mom and say, no, she's lying. That dick bag over there, he's the one that started the fire for sure. He's a negligent dick.
Okay. And
Hazel just nods. Dick!
and, and your dad from the stretcher says, "That's right, you tell him."
God.
And he doesn't realize he's that far gone, doesn't realize that he's incriminating himself. And your mother is definitely, you know, trying, still fighting that good fight when they put him into the back of the like sheriff car, not the squad car, but the
Wagon?
like the paddy wagon type thing, because this is the 20s, and you know, a car is like, ooh, so the police department probably has one van with bars on it that's like the vehicle. And so yeah, they put him in the paddy wagon and take him away, and the officer is like, yeah, he can dry out and you get him in the morning, you know. And your mother looks exasperated and then turns to you and Rue and kind of gives you a look like, what the hell are you doing, kid? She doesn't say anything, but she gives you that that worn down, I'm just trying to hold this family together look. and then, you know, pats you on the shoulder, kind of scoops you up, and then is like, goes to like walk back in and realizes your place has burned and has to try to figure out where you guys are going to stay. So she suddenly, her shoulders slump. Hazel, too, because of the situation, your adult mind is in there, so you know this is happening, but you can't elicit a cognitive adult response. But like I said, part of this fog nightmare that you're in is that you are able to, like watching a dream of yourself, understand what is actually happening. So as a young child, what is your response to this when you realize that you have nowhere to go?
Hazel is upset, and there is definitely that part of her that starts going through like the kid version of the grief process, where she starts like blaming it all on herself. And then she thinks to herself, I wish that car would just flip.
Okay. All right. Harsh, but viable. Yes. Okay.
And
And
that's
that's
it.
where,
Yeah.
okay.
Like
All
she's just thinking about like, if I ever had mind powers, you know what I would do? Like,
I swear to God.
I like to imagine like camera shifts over and like a spoon vibrates in a cup or something like that.
All right. Yeah, that's a beautiful scene. So yeah, somewhere nearby that will pan out from that, where, you know, you're trapped inside your own mind, only able to express yourself as a like 2-year-old, and then it swings over, and yeah, there on the table in your soot burned apartment, the spoon is vibrating and it just falls off the table. Rue, you've got a pocket full of nickels. And your mother just slumped her shoulders, realizing you've got nowhere to go. What do you think Rue would do or say? Or
I will like pull out those nickels and be like, so we could probably catch a cab, and we could spend the night in the park tonight if I know a good spot. They won't like, nobody will bother us there or anything. And like, you know, the cops, they go by there all the time, so you know, it'll be safe and stuff.
a quick detail in my head.
Baby child.
Does Rue keep her money in a like marble bag, or
Yeah.
where does she keep her money in her as she's collecting the nickels? It's just a bag of like marbles?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. That sounds about right.
Very rude. Okay, so that was just a detail I needed for story purposes. And your mother, she's got the little house apron thing on, and she's like digging around and in the pockets of it and whatnot, and she pulls out and she's got a couple of dollar bills, and she says, "Sweetie, does Rue respond well to Sweetie?"
She does when it's her mom.
Okay. All right, Sweetie, how about we walk down to that park and then see if we can't maybe stay in a hotel.
Getting schwanky. Okay. Okay. All right.
And then she takes your hand and she'll grab Hazel up, and she lifts Hazel up. So, Hazel, you're at mom's shoulder height. And she takes Rue in the other hand, and you guys start to walk off towards the park. As you guys are walking along, and you walk through a street light, shining down, just as you step into the dark of the other edge of that street light, where you disappear from us seeing you. You disappear. It fades. Beltane, where's the next part in history that we see you? The next big memory of Beltane's after the fire?
Probably 100 years later, because he would have retreated back into his realm. But 100 years later or so, this time probably in what is now known as Germany.
Okay.
He's watching a village, curious about what their practices are, and spots a few people he's curious about, and knowing they're starting a tradition of using fire as protection, and he relates to that, and it's curious that they are taking these practices he practices back home. So he's trying to find out why.
Okay. And so wait, what would the time frame be? Would be like 600
Probably,
BC?
about then, yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. About 600 BC. So this would have been post Roman invasions. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to set the Germans up in my head.
Yes.
So yeah, the men are building some kind of pyre.
A pyre. It would be probably around May, about this time,
Okay.
when the early practices started.
Yeah, and so they're working on this pyre for some reason. Do you have a concept of humanity's religion, or is that something that you haven't quite run into yet?
There's some concept of it. It's mostly Greek and Italian
Okay.
religion in that source, but he's never experienced this religion. It's
Okay.
much more brutal to him, and he's just fascinated by it.
So much more than the grandiose temples that you saw in like Athens and whatnot, and the marble statues and such. This is much more something you see like nymphs and satyrs and those kin do on moon phases and whatnot. So this is looking more like some kind of party. Some kind of tribal dance and a lot of drums and howls at the moon is singing, if you can call what these barbarians do is singing. And as that begins to get to a dénouement, the peak of the ceremony or
Crescendo.
whatnot, crescendo. The Do you still stay at a distance?
I creep a little bit closer because I've seen like people wearing unique headdresses of like deer antlers, deer masks, and I recognize some of these forms as one of them was my very ancient form. One of them's a form my brother takes on certain days. It's
Okay.
just something I recognize, and it's funny to see these people try to emulate it.
Yeah. And are you feeling a kinship at this point, or is the sting of Dionysus still too fresh after 100 years? I mean,
It's
because that's
a
a blink of an eye to you.
yeah. It's growing. It's still small, but it's growing. It's a second chance sort of feeling, like I'm willing to try again.
Okay. Um, you got a house plant, and now you're willing to move on to a pet after the
Yeah.
relationship ended. No. So give me a brains roll.
Great. 7.
A 7. Okay, just over the failure line. Okay. You don't see it coming until it's too late. This ceremony has called something from probably closer to your realm. It's moving through the shadows on the far side of the fire from where you're at, but you can see it moving, and as it comes around like the fire, you see the glint of its animal-like eyes, that glow. But these people are in their dance and in the ceremony so much at this point they don't see it. What do you do?
My purpose originally was to protect, as called forward by the god I worship. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm still instinctively following that purpose. So I'm going to appear on the other side of the fire in front of this creature, blocking its advancement.
So you're gonna be like and
Yeah.
show up over there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You appear, and it's it's twice your size, fur, fangs. Later on, these simple peoples will call this the werewolf, the beast from the woods. So this werewolf stands before you. Actually, it's probably a wolf were, a wolf that has gained the ability to transform and become upright and humanistic and smart. So uh God damn you, Indoor. I shouldn't have looked at chat. So like I said, it's a wolf were, it's a bestial creature. You stand before it. What do you say or do?
I'll just hold my hands all up in a posture of let's not escalate this and say, turn around. They are under my protection tonight.
I like that. Let's go with a charm roll for that.
Okay. Oh, good. 9.
Excellent. And so they're under your protection for the night, and it looks to the moon and looks back at you, and it grins. It just grins, this horrible grin. And how did this go badly after this, that it's one of your nightmares, one of your memories that is painful?
It was probably with the first person, a human person I actually loved.
Okay.
A woman named Frida or something similar to that. A very Germanic name. And I had advised these people to place fires, place wards, place protection. She didn't listen.
So
She stepped outside of these wards.
the wolf's bane that they would hang around the village. Indoor, did you have
I
a
was
little
gonna say,
detail?
I was gonna ask if the name was like Tatiana specifically because you had named your car after that later. So if that was
No.
like your one memento of that human lover from the past.
No, Tatiana's actually after somebody within the Fae world.
Okay. Or I was going to say, is it more of a Britannia
Tatiana.
later when we get to that,
Yeah.
to the British Isles? Okay, that's cool. Great. Hold that detail because maybe we'll come back to it. But that I love it, Indoor. That's very sweet. No, it's park the truck.
No, Tatiana got sacrificed.
Nice. We'll get
That was
there.
all you, babe.
That was all you. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like probably years later, this village has prospered under your protection, and the people have gotten complacent, a little lazy, but the wolf's bane is hung, the garlic is there, the fires, the protections that you have brought into the fold for them. Tatiana, or not Tatiana, Frida is it leaves your abode, leaves you in some kind of slumber or stupor, whatever your equivalent of a peaceful state is. Thinks that they'll get some flowers or some of your favorite berries, something that some sensory note from the forest, so that when you awake it'll be there. Steps onto beyond the wards, and this this beast is waiting, just waiting for the chance. And it bounds from our point of view. She's walking along. She's got this beautiful red cape on, this little cape that she's wearing that's hard to make. I mean, you had helped them do red dye, to learn how to use berry and flour to create the reddish dye. And she's fluttering, the cape's flowing a little bit as she walks through the woods. The moonlight is coming through, and it's not quite a full moon, which is why you were not on high guard. And the beams are coming through, and we see the red. We see from the beast's vantage point. We can feel its excitement, its feeling of finality, and it bounds, and it's on its overextended long arms, rips across the earth, near silent. And we see her step out of the moonlight into the dark, and we see it lunge through the darkness, and you awake the next day. You see the tattered, shredded little red cape, and a fairy tale is born. Zip off into darkness. Hillbillies hanging upside down, a possum on a branch, truck headlights off in the distance through the kind of the half fog. Hoots and hollers. One of them's, bring that hooch up. We're gonna cut and gut this possum and have us a little victuals right here on the fire. And Lilith, you're hanging upside down as a possum.
I guess so.
What do you do?
I don't know what opossums do.
So with that, give me a fortitude roll. Your little possum heart is beating. What'd you roll?
I rolled 2 ones.
Oh,
And I have +0. So it's a 2.
snake eyes. I'm gonna
I'm not rolling them anymore.
I'm gonna deny you a luck roll in this case.
That's fine.
Your little heart is pounding and pounding and pounding, and your vision starts to swirl, and your possum reflex to play dead begins to take over, and the vampiress Lilith feels helpless for the first time in 100 years. As your little gray clawed possum fingers let go of the branch, as your sight fades, your little heart stops for a moment, and you pass out. You feel yourself falling through the air. You're plummeting, and they're like, "We only have to climb a tree for this," and the sound fades. You wake up as Lilith in the fog. Roll me a d6 of psychic damage.
1.
Okay. Your rage your rage at this has definitely it brought you about. Like, you sat up in this horrible khaki colored fog. You sit up, and it's moisture upon your countenance is an insult to your power and your ability. When you sit up, what do you do?
Look around. Am I just in a fog?
Yes. Now, again, you were just helpless to a couple of humans. Idiot humans at that.
Well, yeah, she feels rage because she hasn't felt like that in forever, and then the times she has felt like that were like very dark moments. So she kind of like her control over like her beast mode is kind of like flickering. And she's looking around, kind of starting to rage, trying to find a way out of here and
And
maybe walk around.
so as she stands, what does her bestial rage non-transformation, the bits and glitches that we see, how does that look? What do we see? Like fangs, like your
Yeah,
skin
more
change?
fangs. Her features are becoming a little sharper. You see black veins starting to appear right under her skin, as if it were translucent. Her ears growing a little bit more. Her claws getting longer. It's like that's like the mid transformation.
And is it a growing sensation, or is it like the claws are there and then they're gone, the fangs are there and gone, the veins grow and then grow away? Is it like something along those lines, like some kind of weird situation?
If she's trying to gain back control, it's kind of like a glitch. If
Okay.
So I would say it's that, because she doesn't want to lose control at the moment, because she knows her instincts are more they're more primal when she's in her beast form, and she's trying to think logically about things. So it's kind of like small glitches.
Give me a moxie.
Moxie?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't fucking fail me now. Oh, okay. That is 11.
Ah, excellent. So, so you you're trying to get it all together, and you are just would you, I'm gonna say either way we'll work this out, but because you rolled an 11, um would you in a would you scream out like, like kind of thing, but Lilith like,
Mhm.
or would you like harumph it out? Would it be a bellow, or an internal like straightening?
An internal like kind
Okay.
of like trying to control herself.
Okay. As you gain control, you you can feel, um with your heightened senses, you can feel a melody of sound, almost, it's almost more like a sense, like a translucent thread in the air of the flowers of peace, of tranquility, of Beltane. You can almost sense Beltane nearby.
I will try to follow that.
All right. Give me a brains.
Uh, 8.
8 is a success. You are stumbling through the fog. What seems, sorry guys. What seems like for hours, you're following this, and you can't tell how far you've moved, and sound and time are strange, you know. So you're hearing absolutely nothing except this thread of Beltane, this smell, this feel, this sense. And like I said, it feels like for hours, and then suddenly what shoes do you have on? Are they
I
the
was wearing a
cool,
dress, so
the cool ones that were in chat with the little Brady like things and the
probably she's wearing heels because she
okay.
was in a dress.
All right. The tips of your heels bump something. And it has been very strangely smooth for hours. And suddenly one of your heels bumps something that moves a little bit and comes back to touching the toe of your shoe.
What is? I looked down at it.
Can't see. Fog
Can't.
is here. It's that wet, sticky, and as you move,
Ugh.
it just feels like wet, sticky khaki. All you can see is khaki.
That's just the worst color to be seen.
I know.
I will then try to grab at it, like bring it to my face.
All right. As you reach down, it's fingers. It's it's you feel fingers that are attached to a hand, that feel like they're attached to an arm, that feels like it's attached to a body.
I will like go down to it and try to see if this is Beltane.
It's Beltane as you're touching on
I
as you're
She starts
touching.
like wiping his face, like kind of like lightly, not like harshly, but slightly like Beltane, Beltane, come on, darling. And she's trying to wake him up.
And the camera does this strange, because we can see you in the khaki and we can see Beltane's form and you're holding, and the camera does this thing where it spins like in a circle until all we see is khaki, because it comes up over you, and all we see is the khaki again. And the Harker sisters, when's the next time your mother disappointed you?
Are we talking like immediately? Because then we went and picked up Dad.
It's totally up to you guys. Another big chunk of your mother, because I don't imagine she would have taken you to that.
I feel like we need to like move forward in time again, like to a certain distance, because she definitely did take those nickels and then used part of them, or like used them as part of Dad's bail, which was the worst. But I think that we should move forward in time to like a new disappointment, like much later in time. Perhaps we should add a supernatural element to this. Perhaps Hazel started to exhibit some psychic powers, and Harker was the only one who witnessed them, and Mom didn't believe her.
Sounds great. Hazel, you on board for this scene?
I was thinking it was either going to be that, or it was like either that kind of situation, or it was like her heartthrob at the time that she mentioned in our first episode, I think. A boy named John she was supposed to see off to war, but that was around like a time where either her dad needed to be picked up, and so her mom forced her to come along, and so she couldn't say goodbye to her heartthrob as he left the country, and instead she was forced to go and see her deadbeat dad instead.
Let's save that. Let's put a pin in that, because that'll be later than
Yeah.
Maybe a 10. Well, if you guys are 10 years apart,
I would say I was thinking like for the last scene, if we went 7, like Hazel was 4, Rue was 11.
It's pretty good even, like it's an even, yeah, I like 7. 7's good.
Okay, good. Then let's say Hazel's about 10. Rue is 17. Very at this point, I would imagine I will be gone out of this house soon. Maybe staying just for your sister.
That's 100% true.
And
like I'm already looking at apartments. Like I'm saving up for the down payment. Like I am so eager to get out of this house.
And along these lines, your mother keeps having to rely on you, and that whole 20s mentality where well, you eat, don't you, and you stay here, so the money you make is our money.
Oh God.
As a fan. Oh, I know. I grew up like that, so that's why we're gonna experience this.
Harker's already smoking cigarettes by this point.
Okay.
Like, she's been doing it since like 13.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hazel, what was your first power to manifest?
I would think that like the first power that could manifest was probably hearing people, like accidental mind reading.
Okay.
Because she doesn't know how to turn it off.
All right. So, it begins. You're in your shared bedroom. Rue, how do you get any privacy in the same room with Hazel?
Fire escape.
Okay, so you're out on the fire escape.
Santa Fe.
and you're smoking, and what are you thinking about?
I swear to God, if it wasn't for this fucking kid, I'd be out of here right now.
Hazel, in your mind, you feel you feel those thoughts. If it wasn't for this fucking kid, I'd be out of here right now. You guys make me cry. Oh.
I'm 10.
Yeah.
This is it. This is when I run away for good.
Okay.
Nobody needs me around anymore. Yeah.
Little stick and little bag.
Stick and bindle.
Okay.
I'm sitting on the fire escape and I watch her go by.
So you begin to build your bindle.
I imagine it was going to be I take Dad's empty his empty suitcase. He never goes anywhere except to jail, so it's not like he needs this for anything.
All right.
And it's just the loud sounds of young child fitting all of their most valued possessions into this container.
And
she's not stealthy about it.
Are Mom or Dad home currently?
No, Mom's working her third job.
Okay, and where's deadbeat Dad?
The bar.
All right, perfect. And Rue, you hear the unbridled sounds of your sister dragging something, and then you hear is Hazel softly crying?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just one of those
angry crying.
Is this the first time she's exhibited hearing people's thoughts?
No, this this would be the first time, is what GB was saying.
Yeah,
This is the very first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, with your sight, you have probably seen weirdness around your sister. Maybe at some point she reached out for something like the sugar for her cereal or whatever, and it actually moved a little bit into her hand, but she didn't even notice it. She just thought she grabbed it, but you were like, and we're you saw the little bit of glow around her and everything. But it's not that weird for you because you've been seeing freaking goblins and shit since you were little, since you were her age or younger.
You were like, oh, they're just ugly kids. It's fine.
Yeah, you just expect that the other newsies who look like little green-skinned, yellow jagged teeth and yellow.
They got polio.
Yeah, that's just what the other kids look like. So
I'm gonna turn around and see her packing through the window. I'm gonna put out my cigarette on the fire escape and climb back in.
And what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, the fuck is she doing now?
You hear this in your head, and you feel your sister say, "What the fuck is she doing now?"
And then Hazel just turns and looks at you and stomps on the ground, puts her little kid arms back. I'm running away.
She hasn't said anything.
I know, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah. That's so she reacts
Then you don't have to worry about this fucking kid anymore. Isn't that what you wanted?
What are you talking about?
I heard you. I heard what you said.
I didn't say anything. I was out on the fire escape.
We said we wouldn't lie to each other anymore. She's going and stuffing things in a suitcase.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say anything. I was I didn't lie.
And that's what you hear is, I didn't say anything. I didn't lie. But
And
you're not
there
hearing
is-
it. You're feeling it.
It's kid clearly flustered by all of this, doesn't understand, and there is just a loud yes you did, and she'll throw her stuffed animal against the wall.
I'm gonna walk up to her. I'm gonna start unpacking her bindle.
Okay. And as you're walking up to her, that glow, that aura that you've seen before when these little weird things happen is it's like a halo around her head at this point, like almost like as if there's a little sun hidden behind her head, and it's almost like throwing a shadow on her face.
Harker is going to like say, Hayes, calm down. It's going to be okay. But she's thinking, I swear to God, I can't deal with this right now.
So you're hearing one thing and feeling the words at the same time, Hazel.
Hazel's just gonna yell because she's a kid and this is sensory overload. And she's going to push her sister.
Okay.
Because she's trying to do one thing, which is pack the suitcase, and then her sister's over here double speaking to her, also just like taking shit out of the suitcase as she's going to pack.
Can Harker fly through a wall?
Maybe against the wall.
Okay,
maybe not through the wall.
She pushed you.
I also thought that like if there was like a psychic push that goes with it.
Yeah, give me a moxie roll.
That is a 10.
All right. Do you want to push your sister away?
So badly right now.
Yeah, you huck her over her bed into the wall, and she bounces off her bed, like bounces off her bed, and you hear the thoughts from the apartment next door. Them fucking kids. I have to go pound on that fucking door. I swear I will kill them. Is what you hear and feel, the anger coming from through the wall.
Hazel's going to do the thing that all kids do as soon as they realize they've done something wrong, and she's going to cry and try and hide somewhere.
All right. Hazel just starts crying, balls up and rolls under her bed. She's now under her bed. This is assuming you guys had separate beds.
No.
You had one bed and it's old, and after you flew, she just like dropped out of sight and is gone.
I think Harker slammed into the wall, slid down onto her ass, and she's just like staring, like just completely befuddled. And like she's trying to process what just happened to her, but then she hears her sister crying. And she's already on the ground, so she's just gonna crawl over to the bed and just kind of lay on her side and look under the bed at her, and she's like, Hayes, are you okay?
Just tears.
And at this point, I imagine you can feel the real genuine concern from Rue coming to you. So, I mean, how does that affect 10-year-old Hazel?
Hazel will just very meekly, you can't tell Dad.
What? No, who do you think I am?
My sister. She just like squiggles out from underneath the bed and then just like head on sister's lap.
I mean, like the next step was going to be Harker crawling under the bed with you.
So Harker pulls her in and just kind of rocks with her. And is she thinking, this is my sister, I love her, blah blah blah? Or
yeah, she's thinking that, but like one level deeper, she's also thinking, she's having a lot of thoughts all at once. I think it gets really jumbled and confusing for Hazel. She's thinking, love my sister, but she's also thinking like about what just happened and trying to figure it out. And like that jumble of confusion is going to settle on one more year.
One more year.
One more year.
All right. And in this one more year, are you taking Hazel with you?
I want to.
What's Rue thinking? I mean, at this point, you're vulnerable, sister. You're being the mom right now. Is it?
I think that she intends to. I think that she promises to. I think that this is she fully intends to do it, but it doesn't work out. I think that, like, she is just incapable. She can't do it.
Yeah.
And she has to leave Hazel behind.
But in this moment, in her mind, she's going to. Yeah. Hazel, I'm just gonna say that you're feeling loved and that your sister will never leave you.
Oh, I was gonna say, as soon as like Hazel's head was on Rue's lap, she just passed out. Like, she went through an emotional roller coaster within 10 minutes, and then, like, with the first time of like mental energy being expended in doing this thing, like, she's tuckered. She's young.
Yeah.
Just outie.
There's a hole in the drywall.
Not that bad, because you'd probably have broken ribs.
Fuck. God.
So, all right. Because the way they built things in the 20s, you would have hit 2x4.
Oh,
God. So let's as we pull back, we fade back away from that that scene of the two of you rocking and Hazel just kind of asleep in your arms. We pull back, we fly out over the fire escape up into the khaki haze above as detail begins to shrink around that. We get back into the khaki haze. I know it's a touch early for a break, but you guys made me sniffly, and I want to blow my nose a lot and take a moment if that's if we can fit that in the schedule.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
All right.
So,
all right.
I would like to say thank you, GB, for running this game for us. We are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to bit.ly/merch indoor. I think that's what we have. Wait, let me check. Oh, it's too far up. Okay, hold up. Wait.
Kronk is flexing at you.
Yes, bit.ly/merch indoor. That is where you can find our new merch store, because bit.ly does not allow me to change things easily. So, like I said earlier, we are going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes, so don't go no place. All right, everybody. Bye-bye! And we're back! Hello, everybody. We've done it. We've returned after a break. Congrats.
So, we missed a subscription. So.
Oh, yes! Vivacia! Thank you!
So, I'm going to take, in honor of your subscribing, I will take this mallet and hit that guy in the face.
Yes!
Yes.
Such a good sound. Every new follower and sub, we do good bongs.
Okay. All right. We had faded out, gone up and over the building. The khaki fog had come in over the surrounding, taking away reality, as it were. Back to Lilith. Beltane lies, apparently unconscious before you.
What does he look like? Is he still like his...
Like khaki. You can't see anything. You can only feel, and because of your heightened senses, you can smell. Is the only description of it.
Can I put my hand against? If I put my hand against his chest, can I feel his heartbeat?
Yeah, I would imagine Beltane has a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, he's not dead.
The Fae physiology is such.
Yeah, I think
you're reckoning that they are.
Or would I?
I have a back. I have a heart. It's fine.
All right. Yep. So yes, you feel they're front. They're laying on their back, and yep, their heart's beating. And you have probably heard this for so long, again with your heightened senses, that that that's a normal beat.
Okay. If I get my face up close to his face, what do I see? I see Beltane eating cookies. It's like that. Oh, so you're back to normal again.
Just stuffing cookies into my mouth. Yeah, I just found these on the ground. I was hungry.
Completely unconscious, just make jaw to the cookie.
A little milk. All right. Okay. You get up to the face, and again, it's so thick that you pretty much have to put your eye to their eye.
I've gotten really close to Beltane. I don't care.
Yeah. They appear to be asleep.
I'm gonna slap him.
All right. It's a solid slap and very vampiric. And it, roll me a brawn, really.
Oh shit!
Did you break my nose?
No. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. It's a 9. It's partial success. No, it's a partial success. It's fine.
You hear something crack.
Fuck. All you see is just like closing her. He's like, fuck.
Okay.
Nothing?
No. Give me a brains roll.
8.
8. You have Has Lilith ever read Grimm's fairy tales?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
This is some kind of, if you believe in it, magical slumber.
It depends which magic is stronger. Would calling upon our contract like override that magic?
I don't know. You want to try it?
Yeah, I'm gonna call upon our contract, and I'm gonna say his real name, his true name, in his ear. In a low whisper, so nobody can hear me except me and him. Just like,
Okay.
and just I'll say his true name, and then just say, "Wake up."
All right. Beltane, give me a fortitude. Is that what? Yes, a fortitude.
Eight. Yeah, 8.
An 8? Excellent. All right, a partial success. Un momento. My apologies. But if I don't answer this, they're just going to keep calling. So, Beltane, you begin to hear your true name through this khaki fog. And it sounds as if it's coming through a megaphone. but in a way that's making your whole body shake. Give me a brains roll, if you'd be so kind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good. 12. No, 13. Excuse me.
Excellent.
Maybe he's
You-
not just a dumb fey boy.
He's a dumb fey boy.
You know that
He's a himbo.
that this is a magical reverberation. This voice is touching upon ancient fey magic, old magic, like dawn of time type magic. And so your true name is coming to you like you're at a concert and you're standing too close to the speakers. You can feel your true name shaking your reality. Meanwhile, we see Lilith, painted lips, just the barest whisper into Beltane's ear. But the ancient magic is reverberating down into your skull, your reality at this point. You're hearing awaken. You must. It is written. And what do?
I'll turn from where I am and look towards the sound and move towards it, as I'm not one to disobey something that's so ingrained into me. And
Okay.
I'll leave what I know and experience at this point and just go towards it.
All right, give me a moxie roll.
Okay. Oh boy. It's a 5.
You have luck points.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you want to see where the story goes, or do you want to spend a luck point?
Carl want to see where it goes. I like my negatives.
All right. As you feel yourself beginning to rise, there's a slamming sound, something cracking, something dark and malevolent. The khaki seems to part for a moment, and a massive black claw reaches out. And when I say massive, I mean like from your waist beyond your head, and slams into you, reverberating and knocking you back into semi-consciousness. Lilith, you have whispered this. You've sat back up. The fog around you kind of begins to clear. Beltane's head is twisted sideways.
Did I crack his fucking neck?
Like unnaturally twisted sideways.
I thought I just broke his nose.
And as like I said, the fog kind of is doing this sort of the dome around you as you whispered the true name. That you feel a reverberating of fey magic about you, and you it comes about, and you feel as if your pact has been broken, as that connection, that reality betwixt you is gone.
Like forever, or just that it didn't work?
You feel it's gone. Like whoa, that it has been it's almost like that phantom losing an arm and still feeling the arm kind of thing. It almost feels like that, like a part of you was missing.
Is he dead?
He
No,
looks
he
dead.
can't.
You can't hear a heart.
You've killed me.
Shut the fuck fuck up, Jen. You shut the fuck up. What am I supposed to do? I just killed him, and now I'm just surrounded by fog. There's nobody here. What are my options, GB?
You asked for this. You asked. I have down a
Part
path.
of me's just dead now.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no. I didn't. You literally left me stranded without anything to do. I don't know what to do.
Well, I let you see what you did.
I didn't
You
know.
can't just ask for tears and then yell at the DM for giving you tears.
He's just like, you want tears? He's dead. You literally snapped his neck. I'm like, I was just trying to wake him up.
And it's your fault.
Okay.
I mean,
Lilith is probably freaking out.
yeah. Yep.
She's probably like calling his name, like kind of shaking him constantly.
The body moves, but the head is like lulled off. Straight.
She's like, no. Beltane, wake up. No, come on. And she's like kind of like shaking him more, and she's like kind of like slowly loosing it until she starts screaming. Because she's not only is she seeing his body basically dead, but she feels that loss, which she hasn't felt in over 100 years. Like, oh, well, they've been like 70, 80 years.
And is this a mortal scream, or is it a vampiric scream?
Oh, it's
like a soul scream.
It's a soul scream. And she's just holding his body against her, and she's crying. And all you see is just tears of blood just coming from her eyes as she's just sobbing into his body, screaming, "No!" And just
the
holding
pain,
him.
the you can feel your dead heart ache, breaking, and Beltane's lulled head snaps, and the eyes spring open, and they're completely black. And a grin comes across Beltane's face, and the limp arm kind of crunches and snaps and starts to move, and they smile at you with black pupilless eyes.
She will look at his face, and with pure like rage and anger, she's like, "Get out of him."
Betrayer, breaking our pact. And the other shoulder cracks and the other arm comes up.
I didn't do this.
That's what they all say. And the spine, you feel the spine do like an S shape, and they begin to sit up.
No, this is... I would not do this. You know this. Whatever you are, get out of him.
The feet that were like kind of just slumped come up and tighten, like you can hear the joints snap. Snap into place as they then pull one leg up, and the spine spins back, and they begin to try to stand.
Lilith will stand at that and kind of step away, watching him kind of like weirdly snake-like kind of like pop up.
Yep. And pretty naturally they like come to, this leg comes up, and then this leg steps to the side, and then they go to this knee, and they sort of slink up, and they twist in a way that the spine spins, so that they're completely around, and then it goes to take a step towards you with just the they're normally beautiful angular features are now taut and and grotesque, and the mouth opens and the tongue is purple, and it's Atreya, and then the legs spin, and it takes a janky step towards you and begins to reach out with Beltane's hands.
Oh God, this is what is she doing? She like make as the hand's swiping at her, she like swings back to kind of like have it miss her, and she just has like wide eyes, kind of looking at Beltane. And she's just repeating, no, 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 no.
Give me an agility roll. That's what we called it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, agility.
That's a 6, 7.
Okay. You managed, as you're like, no, 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 and Beltane had reached for your hand thousand times in your human lifespan that you've spent together, and just, I mean, almost gently goes to grab your hand, and at the last second you manage to no, and it moves past, and so it janks forward, and now it's within grabbing distance. It's going to lay a hand upon like your shoulder or maybe your upper arm, grab some of your clothing.
She grabs his arm. She's like, I didn't do this. She's confused because she knows this isn't Beltane, but all the insecurities and all the fears are just coming to her. So she's holding his arm before he swipes at her, but trying to stop, but also trying to like hold him in a way.
Yeah. So give me a brawn roll.
Math numbers. 10.
10. All right. You're holding the arm, and the body twists, and the other arm is like coming around you, like it's gonna pull you into an embrace.
Story-wise, I just want to let it happen.
You tell me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
a scary game.
I'm gonna let it happen.
All right. As the embrace begins, this arm that you were holding so tightly just kind of loosens, like it's gonna go around for the other part of the embrace. Do you loosen your grip?
Yeah.
And that there, Beltane's hands, slide across your shoulder blades like 1,000 hugs before. And as that happens, their face splits and cracks. Their jaw begins to stretch. The purple tongue becomes serpentine and throws itself about your throat. And begins to tug. Not that you breathe, but that you can't speak. Do you say anything? Or what do you do?
Even though she can feel it's gone, just out of instinct, she's gonna try to call upon their contract again and just be like, stop.
Okay. Give me a charm, I think.
4, 5, 6, 8.
8. 8's a partial success. Give me a D4 plus 2 psychic damage.
3.
Okay. Take 3 psychic damage.
She's going loco crazy real quick, guys.
And as this split and now broken and extended jaw begins to widen, it's coming down and you can see nothing but darkness as it's the mouth is coming over your head. Like it's like a snake is just gonna envelop.
Can I try to break out of this grasp?
Yeah, sure. Are you gonna beast out, claw, fang, bite, or just shove away?
Just shove, because she doesn't want to hurt him.
Okay, give me a brawn.
Double 6s. Plus, so it's 12, 15.
All right. Amazing.
She's strong.
Amazing. You boom, and the creature, is flown. The Beltane serpent darkness is thrown from you off into the fog, and as it flies away, give me what is your brawn bonus?
3.
Okay. Give me a D6 plus 3 roll.
7.
Beltane takes 7 physical damage.
I'm just doing all the wrong things tonight, guys.
And as you see the Beltane creature fly off into the fog, you hear betrayal. And as it disappears into the fog, the sound is cut off. Beltane, give me a fortitude roll.
Okay. Fortitude. Okay. Oh, cool. 13.
All right.
Nice.
Beltane, you awake, and there's there's a bubble of sight around you in the khaki wet fog, the khaki wet burlap fog. I should add that detail. That it rasps against you like wet burlap would. But there's a bubble of sight, and Lilith has bestial like claws and has driven them into your chest as you awake. She has claws in you, and you're laying on the ground, and you awake, and there she is with her claws in you.
So, do you have something to discuss, or is this normal for us now?
Lilith, your reality snaps, and you realize that the Beltane beast is gone. You're in the circle of sight, and you have half claws sunken deep into Beltane's chest.
Shit. So she will stop them back, and all you see is like her face is just, she's got tears streaming down her face, which you haven't seen in a while. Do I feel that connection gone still?
No, it's there.
Like one hand's gonna go to her heart, and she's gonna like kind of like crying but trying to smile at the same time, because guys, her sanity is not that great right now. She's like, you're alive, you're okay.
Yeah. I'll just kind of wipe the tears away. The only way to probably kill one of me is this iron sword to the neck.
It was gone. I felt it. It was gone.
What? The blood in my chest? Yeah, it's pouring down my body.
Our contract, our connection, it was you were gone. It was all gone. And she's
Oh.
just has kind of like a little far away look to her eyes. So she's clutching at you, but like not trying to hurt you, but a little tightly.
Just pull Lilith in tighter. A contract is only void if I say so. So don't worry.
Okay, the two of you sitting together in the fog, we fade back as your bubble begins to shrink in on you and envelop you in wet keki burlap. Harker sisters.
So gross.
Harker sisters.
Can't wait to see what's going to happen to us.
Your father's in prison.
Again. Sorry.
You have to go. You gotta go to get him out. Hazel, you're supposed to meet John.
Yes, I am.
The car's driving away. You see the village, the city, the port town fading away in the distance. You're reliving that moment.
She's still crying.
Rue, are you able to drive, and are you driving at this point, or did Beltane have to teach you to drive recently?
We don't have a car.
We
We never get a car.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't drive.
Yeah. So your mother's driving somebody's car up to the prison. So yes, I guess your mother is driving somebody else's vehicle.
Hazel's moodily looking out the window.
And there's a mist, a fog. It's not a good day in any way, shape, or form. Rue, are you in the front seat with your mother or in back with your sister?
I'm definitely in the front.
All right.
And I'm smoking even though I'm not supposed to be. Since we're borrowing somebody else's car, it would be polite not to smoke in their car, but I'm also rebelling. So
All right. Sorry, the final of my don't cry cookies. All right. Your mother's like, Rue, I wish you wouldn't. It's not very ladylike. Roll the window down, please.
I'm going to ash the cigarette inside the car and then roll the window down.
Okay. Now, Rue, have you been in cars with other like people before?
Probably.
Like, this is the 20s. No high schooler would have a car, but there might have been, I'm borrowing mom or dad's car a couple times, or like a joyride, or maybe catching a ride somewhere in a truck, that kind of stuff.
Well, you got to keep in mind that Rue worked as a cop for a while. So, oh shoot, maybe she does know how to drive. She learns to drive in police training.
This is before this, because this is when Hazel's going to lose or supposed to see John.
Right. So why are we asking this question?
I wanted to frame it so that we could figure out kind of where has Rue had friends or anyone who can drive? Also, too, it's 7 years difference. So yeah, you would have probably been out of the house at this point.
How old is Hazel at this point?
How old were you when you were gonna lose John?
Well, because it's World War I times, I was probably like 15.
Okay.
Younger than that, possibly like 14.
I'll do you a favor. I'm not in the car scene, but I'm a rookie at the police station.
Okay. All right. Uh, are you a corrections officer at the prison?
I think that right now I'm probably working the front desk.
Okay, because they're going to like the county lockup, not to the police station.
Shoot! God, now I have to actually know how police work.
I'm just saying because we said prison, and if it was in town.
All right, let's put it this way. I'm coming along as a favor to try, because mom talked me into coming along to try and sweet talk the folks. I probably know them from work.
Okay.
So she told me to come along. I need to help with the processing and get dad back out of prison or whatever. Right. And I'm here for Hazel's sake.
Gotcha. All right. and hence back to the question, you were up front smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Right back into it.
Yep. All right. Car, foggy day. Hazel, what's going through your head?
She hates this family. She hates this family so much. Her sister's okay. But her mom, her dad, she doesn't care at this point. And even then, her sister being here, her sister was supposed to take her with her. And she didn't.
This is a very awkward car ride.
Yes.
Hazel is supposed to be at the dock wishing the love of her young life away.
Her one true love. What are you talking about?
True love. And instead she's here in the back of a car they had to borrow because our family can't even afford their own, regardless of the number of jobs that mom works.
The bumpy road, the time passes, the fog. Why is this? We're not even near the port anymore. Why is there still fog? Seems to take forever. But for us, watching, it's glimpses, bits, bobs of this scene. You're in the parking lot. The prison looms hazily in the distance. You're talking, Rue, you're talking to a security personnel. Rue is talking to someone with a clipboard. Your mother is very impatient, wringing her hands and looking very furtive. You get to a room. There's bars. There's little tables. There's a cell door. Your father begins coming down the hall. Hazel, what are you thinking about your dad?
I am thinking about how he is just the worst, most useless individual that she has ever known.
Hazel or Rue, your dad's coming down the hall. Third or fourth time you in your young life have had to come up to the county lockup, the county, the prison, and get him out. What are you thinking about your dad?
I'm thinking the same thing I think every time, and it's what a lousy guy. I'm never doing this again.
All right, so this is the last time.
This is the last time.
Okay. Your father sees you guys. He smiles. It's his family. They've come to get him. I'm going home. He's getting out. He's excited. He's happy. Your mother again is wringing her hands, but she manages a weak smile. Your father takes a step and his foot sticks to the floor. And he goes to move and it's stuck. And he looks up at you, Rue, like, what the fuck? And he looks at you, Hazel, and to us watching it, your eyes meet, and you are suddenly cognizant of your current powers, and you feel you're wringing the life out of him at a distance. You feel yourself drawing his life force out in your sheer 14-year-old anger, but with the power of your grown advanced superhuman abilities. You are reaching across this distance and drawing the life out of him. His other foot, he like lurches forward, and he's got a strange pained look, and suddenly his other foot seems to be stuck to the floor. He begins to speak. He opens his mouth, and as he does, his tongue gurgles and boils into a olive drab colored bubble, and it pops, and the green olive drab goo of the pop is on his face, and it starts to melt one of his eyes, his cheek down, and his eye begins to turn color and bulge out in the same olive drab. It bursts, and now the green goo is upon him, and his orifices are all beginning to bubble out this olive drab goo, and he reels back to scream, but it's a fountain of the green goo that is now covering his entire body, and his form is shrinking down. His arms are reaching in. His body his legs seem to be being absorbed as this fountain of olive drab is covering him. Hazel, what are you thinking?
Hazel is thinking to herself, she has all the wherewithal of her older age, right?
You have all the power and cognizant.
Okay.
But this is the 14-year-old you in this moment, in this day.
Is there a lot of glass nearby? Like in like windows and like viewing ports?
No, there's there may be one like booth, like a control booth between the doors, the cell doors. So there may be a sheet of glass there, like an office type glass, where maybe some of the paperwork would be done. He'd be handed back his personal belongings there.
Okay. The floor is gonna swallow it.
There is lights above.
Oh yeah. No, if it was the lights, it would basically be cause glass to shatter and then just have glass shards just rain through this thing.
All right. So the little cages of light, the glass bursts out of them. The light also. Now there's sparks upon the ceiling and in this cage of metal. And that's sort of, we're getting these like lightning like flashes as the bulbs down the hall and towards you burst, and the light and the glass swirls through the air and begins whipping into this thing. As it whips in, you hear the pain, the gurgle pain noises of what is or was your dad. And as the bubbling olive drab coating that's turning him into some sort of, give me a brains roll, both Harker sisters.
Oh god, I'm not good at this.
Oh, I'm supposed to be. Hold on.
A 9. Not bad.
Am I allowed to use my Know Thy Enemy on this?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
That was one of your original powers, right?
I don't need it. Yeah, it's one of my original powers. I don't need it. Okay. I rolled a 5 and a 6. So that makes it a 12.
you realize, Rue, you realize that this is one of the little sludge monsters you guys fought in your original battle that brought down the cliff face. Remember the little olive drab sludge monsters that were like kind of made out of clay, formless, faceless. They were part of Groth, the greater primal being. You realize that this is what you're facing.
That's like that my dad has turned into one of those things.
He is currently turning into one of these things.
Okay.
Now,
so like
real quick, Hazel, you realize you're turning your dad into one of these things. It is you that has done this. You have reached in somehow into the past and used your current powers and connection to that primal spirit to create what is before you. Rue, back to you. What were you saying?
How much am I aware of here? Like
it's the nightmare kind of thing where you're cognizant, you're aware of it, but the person standing there is that person in that time. It is you in that time.
Okay.
So that person doesn't actually have a memory of those sludge beasts.
Right. So, but like probably that person knows that my sister has some sort of amount of psychic ability.
Yep. I threw you almost through a wall once, so kinda.
So like as this began to happen, I think that Harker would just kind of be standing there and like, you know, sort of like give Hazel a sidelong look like, okay, you've had your fun, that's enough. And then as it starts to escalate, she's like gonna like drop her cigarette and just kind of grab Hazel by the shoulders and start saying, Hayes, cut it out. Hayes, stop it.
So we see the cigarette tumbling through the air. Everything becomes kind of sepia tone, black and white, and time slows. As you go to grab Hazel, you see that sunlight, but now that you're looking at her, it's like you're looking at her from the side, and the sunshine is over here behind her head, like obscuring, almost putting her into shadow, and it's bright. And when you grab her, you feel the planet. You feel her connection to all life. And as 21-year-old Rue Harker, as the brain outside of this body, you understand what's happening. But you in the moment are suddenly overwhelmed with the feeling of the planet. Hazel, she grabs you.
She is shaking me, and I imagine that there is so everything's in this black and white. There's sunlight behind, but Hazel looks directly at her sister, and there is no hesitation or emotional response. But the only color that is in the scene is that her eyes just flash red. And she has this look of I know exactly what I'm doing. There has never been another way for this. And there is just this certainty from beyond her years that is showing through in this moment of just pure hatred. She feels like she is connected to the earth. She is connected to all living things. So that gives her power to sever that connection among other things.
And as that look is going on, the two guards that were with your father draw batons, and whump, one at the arm level or the neck level, and the other at the knee and those batons stick. And as they pull back, the green, the olive drab slime clay crawls up it and grabs them. And now they're struggling with this mass. And every time they grab, it just sticks to them. And now it's starting to envelop them. Their form is becoming liquid-ish. And so now they're fighting with it. And two more guards are like, what the fuck? And they open the cage, prison door, open the second door. Now both doors are open and they're running in, and one starts firing his pistol, his 38 revolver, and the bullets are whip, 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 whip. Just go into this thing. What do you do?
Years of disassociation from her horrible family life to what she wished she would do if she had power like this just causes Hazel to have a brief smirk.
Rue?
Rue is just continuing to shake Hazel to try and get her to stop. And she pulls back a hand to slap her. And that like jolts something in her. And she just kind of looks down at her hand. She realizes that she was about to raise a hand against her sister. And she looks at Hazel. She looks at her horrifying dad. And she bolts.
So she sees this scene of horror with the lights, the electricity flashing, being the only strobe light in the hallway, the green goo beginning to spread, and as it's absorbing more mass, where its feet were stuck to the floor begin to flow and spread out and find the corners and move down the hall. As that's happening, Rue, why don't you roll me a d6 and add what's your moxie, Hazel?
3.
So roll a d6 and add 3.
That's 4.
All right, take that whatever. Oh, you rolled a 1.
I
Plus
did.
3. Okay, so the 4, take 4 psychic damage. And Hazel, you're letting that flow, letting that happen. You smirked. Your sister went to raise a hand to you, looked terrified of you, and your disassociated mind knows that terror, that look, the victims over the years that you've taken, those bad boys that you've destroyed over the years, all of their faces, all of their visages, all of their screams, all of their charmed smiles at you that led to their death, all start flashing before you. Would you roll me a d6?
That's a 1.
Plus your charm.
Plus my charm. That's a total of 4.
Take 4 psychic damage.
Hazel is not looking hot because since we didn't refresh sanity at the beginning of this, she had 8 going in, so that's half of her sanity gone.
All right.
She is laughing.
Beautiful.
She is laughing, and as this slime monster continues down the hallway towards the innards of this prison, she's opening doors for it.
Oh, nice. So give me a moxie on that, and you're just gonna start flinging doors open. The guy who emptied the guard who rushed forward, bam, hit it square in the head and drove its billy club halfway through the goo that was the lumpish form of your father's head, and immediately it got him and is pulling him in. The guy firing his pistol is just clicking. It's click, 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 click as we zoom in short and small. And the only color we're seeing really that's not black and white is the olive drab, and it touches the tip of his wing tip, his black polished prison guard shoe. It touches and then moves quickly and begins to absorb him up. And the tendrils that were flowing behind are reaching the doors. What did you get from Oxyville?
I got a 9.
Doors begin to fling open. Some of them don't, though. And the ones that don't, you see the tendrils of Olive crawl in too, and you hear screams. The doors that are open, people are starting to run. They're like, we're free, but it's too late. These things shoot like pseudopods and snap onto a part of their body, and once it's got them, they go down in a lump as everything begins to bubble and boil, and their orifices, and they seem to fold inside out and melt inward.
She's cackling at this point. Her sister she feels like her sister has been afraid of her ever since that moment where she threw her against the wall. This is nothing new. Rue always runs away.
All right, Rue, you hear your sister cackling as you flee the prison. Hazel, as the first tendril touches your mother's shiny, high-heeled shoe, what are you thinking?
My thought is, with my 4 sanity, at least now she'll be good for something too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say roll another d6.
That is a 5 plus charm.
Yeah,
That's a total of 8.
Oh, this would be plus your moxie, which is
8.
probably the same. All right. Yeah, you have crossed over. You are mad. The madness has
For
taken
fucking
you.
sure. This was a bad day. She should have been at the docks.
Yeah. The 20 whatever old cognizant self is screaming at itself, screaming and being torn to pieces, shredded, as your mother looks at you in a sadness that is like, me, even me, as the 14-year-old cackles and allows her to turn into a bubbling goo.
Oh yeah,
Play-Doh person.
110%.
Hey, Rue, you're running, cackling. You're hearing the cackling. Unnaturally so. You shouldn't be hearing this. You're halfway to the car when you realize your mother has the keys in her pocket. Where is your mother?
I left her behind now, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
What do I see when I turn around and look back at the building?
You see lights all over the place, like flashing wherever there was like a small slitted barred window. And that's all you see currently.
Harker swears, and she goes running back into the building.
All right. Do you have your service revolver with you?
Yeah, I guess she does.
Okay. So you run back into the building. Your sister is cackling. She is glowing. Her entire being is glowing with that weird sunlight aura that you've seen so many times. But again, it's always behind her. It's always silhouetting her and blazing towards you. and around her, this green, slappy dough-ish, liquid-like slime is growing. Everything that is alive or organic is being devoured, like paper, the wood from pencils, the wood on the clipboard is all being devoured and leaving the metal bits and what behind. And your sister seems to be standing at the middle of it. Your mother's purse is all that's left. She is already goo. You could tell she's one of these slime forms connected to the rest of it, and her purse is laying there, closer to you than the prison. So she must have dropped it backwards as she transformed. What do you do?
So I just recently, this past game, gained a trait called healthy skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
And I am still quite sane.
All right.
Could I disbelieve?
Sure.
Okay.
So, give me a moxie.
So, healthy skepticism says that I can have a free reroll on one mental influence per scene.
All right.
So I'm gonna do that.
All right. Okay.
Oh boy. 13.
All right. You reach through this. Your heart begins to slow.
I have something for this. If you
Go.
just if I disbelieve that this is real, if I become aware of the fact that, like, of what was going on before we started having these delusions,
Mm-hmm.
Harker is holding her service her service gun, and she has it lined up directly towards her sister, and she starts walking closer until I imagine Hazel has just got her back turned to her, and she's just like laughing like a maniac.
Oh, her back is like arched backwards in a really unnatural motion.
And that just the ripples of her power are making her dress like flutter. But again, it's like you're getting bits of the color as it flaps, and it's like, other than the olive drab, which is ever increasing at this point, it's about all you can see of her. The rest of her is silhouetted in this, your sight letting you see how much power she's giving off. Noticing that the olive drab has not touched her.
As Harker realizes that she and her sister are the only real things in this scene, she lowers her gun and she wraps her arms around her sister.
Okay. Give me a charm roll.
So I rolled a 9 on the dice, which means that my roll is 9.
Not very charming, Rue Harker, the detective. All right. Yeah, partial success. You embrace your sister. Unfortunately, your sister is completely mad. Hey, Hazel. Your sister has just grabbed you.
So, you finally came back, huh? Tired of running? You
I'm
always
here,
said
Hayes.
you wanted to be part of something bigger than yourself. So why don't we see to it? And she is going to try and move the slime onto her sister.
All right. What's actually happening to you, Rue, is your sister is attempting to psychically feed off you. Please, Hazel, if you would be so kind as to roll your psychic attack. It's your you can. It's like a D6. It's your feeding one.
That is roll a d4 for damage or health.
All right.
That's a 1 on the
All
die.
right.
Do I add anything?
I think Lilith. Is there a bonus to that?
Or no, the blood charm is a d6, and then I rolled a d4 to heal myself.
Ah, okay. So
If
D6.
if it's the same as mine, it's roll a d4 to see how much HP damage you
Yeah, but I
HP
think
is regained and like damage is dealt.
yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead and roll your D6 for damage, Hazel.
3.
3. Rue, can you take 3 psychic damage?
Sure can.
All right. You
Does she get to eat that? Does she get those points back?
it would come back to her as health.
Cool. Just checking.
Yep. So you in this, you're starting to put together reality again, Rue, and
Mhm.
you're seeing your sister. And what does it look like when you feed off of people, Hazel?
When I feed off of people, it is like it's a mist. It's like a mist / miasma of like, as focusing of will, it is just coming from them, whether it's from the pores or just from like their magical essence that Rue typically sees around people. It's basically like draining that essence down.
All right.
Trying to husk
So Rue, yeah, you're feeling your physical form drain. Your skepticism is telling you that your body is in danger, but it's actually your mind that's being damaged in this case. And Hazel, Rue, you are seeing Hazel draw off your life force. No, hey sis, I love you in her eyes whatsoever.
You know what I can do with that, though? 19-year-old Rue may not be able to handle a psychic Hazel, but nowadays Rue sure as heck knows how to handle a fucking vampire.
All
So
right.
she's gonna pull out some garlic.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so you have your kit, your case, your satchel, as it were. Hey Hazel, are you still allergic to garlic?
At this point in time, because it's just mentality wise, no. I haven't gone through any of the physical changes that have made me into a vampire.
No, what I meant is
okay.
in current reality, is Hazel allergic to when you became a energy vampire? Did any of that change? Any of your immunities and whatnot?
Oh yeah, no, she's not allergic to like garlic and any of the old vampire tricks. If anything, it's like radium, like things that give off a sickly energy. Like if she happens to feed on that, that's not good, because it's just like breathing in decay for her. Like vegetation, like she's connected with all things that are living on planet. So like garlic is just another plant.
Yeah, so you rip from your case and hold it to your sister, and it's like, pizza, you know. It just, you know, if
That
anything,
doesn't work on you.
her nostrils flare a bit, and yeah, you say, this doesn't work on you.
Throw it off into the fog. And I'm like, you're gonna make me do it, Hazel.
Hazel, roll me another bit of damage on your sister.
Okay, so was it D4 or was it D6? Because Satan said that it was D4 for damage. And then D4 for, like, damage heal. But that was back when I was a player character. I've lost my sanity. Am I a boss now?
Yeah, you're a boss monster at this point.
Okay.
You're the you're the four-mouth thing at the end of Stranger Things. So what did we have written on your sheet?
On my sheet, it says blood charm / cute as a button, 1d6, energy vampire powers. Roll a d4 for damage / health.
Okay, so damage / health. So it is D4.
Okay. So, yeah. That's another 3, and then I add Moxie.
Yeah.
So
Because
total
of-
6.
Okay. 6 more sanity, Rue. You hanging with us?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. Rue is very sane. Rue,
I mean, she tries.
I'm gonna let you make a singular know thy enemy roll.
Okay. I mean, technically, this is still the same scene, and I've already. Now, whatever. Oh God, double sixes.
All right.
13.
You using your sight, you realize that you're not dealing with a vampire. You're dealing with something new. I mean, still a life-draining monstrosity, otherworldly being, but you know that you are dealing with a like a scion, an avatar, or something connected to growth, the primordial. This is now a being that is touched with the primordial.
But would a stake still work?
I have a heart.
Yeah, I thought my sister was a vampire, so I stuck her in the chest with a stake. She died. Yeah. You think that a stake through the heart would probably still work?
To paralyze her, not to kill her.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh boy. She's gonna pull a stake out of that briefcase. After this one, I have only one use of the briefcase left. She's gonna pull a stake out of it, and she's gonna say, God, I hope this still works.
Cackle.
And she's going back in for another hug, but this time with more steak.
All right, give me a bronze roll.
It's like an Outback Steakhouse.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Steaks and hugs.
All right, I'm not going to say anything. God. I thought it. I was like, I've been rolling really well tonight. So I got a 4.
All right.
You got luck points.
Mm-hmm.
I do have luck. I don't think I've ever used those before.
You
Can use
haven't.
luck?
I've been waiting.
I have too many yeah, I'm gonna use a luck point.
Rerolls. You do have a lot of rerolls.
I have a lot of reroll things. We might need to rewrite those. Just on account of the fact that I never use my luck points.
Yep.
Okay. A 7.
7. Okay. Partial success. You slam this stake through the beautiful dress of your sister, the beautiful yellow dress of your sister, because you are pseudo in reality again, and you drive the stake in. Give me a fortitude roll, Hazel.
Show me potato salad. That's a 7.
All right. The stake is driving into your heart. you feel yourself begin to paralyze. The stake itself begins to sprout life. It becomes flowery. Are there branches coming off this stake, Rue? You think to yourself, is this stake becoming a tree? And you can feel, Hazel, you feel roots burst from your back, and the roots burst from your back and it sink into the ground, straight through the concrete. And you're feeling yourself being paralyzed. You get one more action. What are you gonna do? Insane,
Wasteland.
Hazel.
If
Right.
I am connected to this tree and this tree is deep in the earth drawing nutrients, wasteland option. She's just taking all of the life that she can in this moment into herself to try and keep living, even though chances are it's going to fuel the tree and not her, but she's going to try.
All right. Give me a moxie roll.
That's a 10.
All right. Critical success. Yeah, you begin. Rue, you see the light from your sister begins to almost like that flash before a nuclear bomb, even though they haven't been invented yet. They are now. The light begins to grow, and I guess give me a moxie roll yourself, Rue.
Double sixes.
All right. You know that you're never going to get out of this. You know that your sister is done for. You know that she's probably going to take at least this prison with her. But you also see that the light is killing the slime. The goop, the primordial, for some reason, this energy that she's creating and drawing is absorbing its life. It is growing gray and beginning to wither and like turn to ash. So she's gonna go, but she's gonna take the spirit of growth with her. And unfortunately, you. What do you do in your last moments of life with your sister?
I just keep on hugging her.
All right. Will you give her a hug? Rue's got shortish blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
It's blowing in the wind. You're feeling the life force come out of you. You feel the energy, being drawn into her. Hazel, you begin to go nuclear. Everything's silhouetted. We see from behind, we see Rue hugging you. You're in silhouette. It begins to go. Hey, Lilith Beltane. When last we left you, you were
Hugging.
Hugging. Complaining about my new ruined vest.
It's the dissolve feature.
Yep. Their silhouetted nuclear hug kind of fades back in to the two of you hugging. And are your hugs genuine, warm, and affectionate between the two of you?
Yeah.
And are Beltane and Lilith the type who will cuddle on the couch?
Yeah, Beltane's a cuddle bug. He likes to cuddle people.
All right. 1 second. All right. So your hug is warm and genuine, and we begin to pull away from it, and you hear hey, you might want to check this out. And the fog, it burlaps, wets to all your skin everywhere, and it rasps and pulls. But the two of you are hugging, you don't feel the moisture, you just feel the warmth of each other. And the
Well, one of us at least.
well, yeah. You feel the warmth of Beltane, and Beltane, you feel the room temperature of Lilith, and and the slap and slither of the wet burlap khaki fog.
You keep saying khaki. I don't like it.
And it as it begins to come around you, the two of you are standing there still holding each other, but you look over and you see the Harker sisters in a blazed light, and it appears that Hazel's about to burst like a sunlight.
Fuck.
Lilith, you feel the sun-like warmth of Hazel begin to burn and peck at your skin, and little bits of flake kind of burn away, start fluttering. Beltane, you see that the sunlight is now causing Lilith to be scorched and burned away.
Okay, so I don't know if we wrote it down, but we established that me and Hazel have a connection and that I would have to expend some of my HP to try and like use that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna expend like some of that HP to try to use our connection, try to kind of bring her back if possible. If that's a thing I can do.
Sure. Give me a charm roll, and tell me what. Well, let's do it this way. Whatever you spend is your bonus to this roll, and you don't add your charm.
Okay. I'm gonna decide that after I roll.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend 5 HP.
Okay.
I'm looking rough, guys. That's a 10. Because I rolled a 4 and a 1, so that's 5.
All right. Okay. It is a 10 though, a critical success.
Yeah.
Let me note here.
Sidebar. Would I feel the primordial connection through Hazel, since she's doing this massive nuclear feed off of the world?
She's going Super Saiyan.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fae are very connected to the world itself.
It's over 9,000.
What?
9,000?
What? 9,000?
People of the
There's no way that can be right.
Souls.
Beltane, you feel that you can spin and turn Lilith away from this to try to protect her,
Mm-hmm.
and fulfill your contract, but your connection, you can feel that this is the end. This is
All right.
your existence is about to expire.
Okay.
But if I rolled a 10.
I'll let Lilith go first, because Beltane's going to become something none of them has ever seen.
Oh,
all right.
No.
So Lilith, you reach into the maddened mind of a 14-year-old who has lost her only chance at true love, and has decided to take the world with her. What do you say to that 14-year-old?
You're not alone. Just stop. This isn't you. You're not there anymore. You're not alone anymore. We love you.
All right, Hayes.
Was it a lie? We don't know.
Hazel, you're a complete nutter. I'm gonna let you roll. I'm gonna let you roll, and I'm gonna give you Lilith's charm as your bonus.
Oh boy. I'm gonna use a luck point to reroll.
Unfortunately, that is not an option, mad woman.
No, well, see, that's the thing. What was the charm that Lilith would give?
I have 3.
3.
Yeah, so I would have gotten a 10. I want to reroll and see if I can get lower.
You're a monster.
Absolute madman.
I'm gonna hold with you. Got to keep your 10 because you're maddened. Your luck is not.
Your luck has run out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
She reaches and she connects with you. You feel not alone, but you also feel that it's too late.
Fuck.
It's too late. Do with that connection, that split second of connection. You're being hugged by your sister as you're both beginning to disintegrate. Lilith's porcelain skin is beginning to burn and bubble and pop in bits and bobs. Let's see what Beltane had in mind.
Okay.
Hazel, think on that for a moment of sanity before the end.
All right. His primary existence was null and void, as he was part of the primordial before he was called into greater existence by the gods he honors now. He was very much primordial, but he held the ancient fires within his chest, the ancient forests within his skin, and he becomes that primordial once again. And he goes towards Hazel, reaching out with his self as a way of a branch, as a way of peace, as a way of protection for Harker and Lilith, because his sole purpose is protection. And if he can't save all of them, he'll try to save 2 of them.
As you turn into this primordial form and the fires burn between this unsinged wood spirit, a single leaf-like vine reaches and touches Hazel's forehead. Just a tap, a moment of clarity. Hazel, what was your thought to Lilith and the connection?
My thought to Lilith and the connection.
Remember, you were saying for a moment, not your insane thought.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Your single last thought of clarity before the end.
And Lilith is the only one who gets this feedback.
Unless you shout it out loud or something.
No.
All right.
The only thought that Lilith gets as feedback, I'm coming, John.
And this single leafy digit taps your forehead, and you hear, "Oh Christ! You guys are horrible. This is bleh." And the burlap fog rushes in. The light explodes around you. All of you see. Oh no, I put it away. You see this horrible pumpkin-headed visage of a scarecrow made of flapping burlap. The head is a pumpkin. It's just skull-like and monstrous, and it's you guys. You were fun for a while, but this sentimentality sickens me. I'll see you next year.
Can I like try to grab for that thing?
Sure, make a brawn roll.
I am going to use my Now You See Me to like speed to it, which burns off 1 HP.
Yep.
Oh, guys, I'm not looking that great.
I know what you mean.
And beast out and try to like claw at it, which
All right.
does a d6.
All right. Give me the brawn roll on it, and then if you give me the brawn roll first.
It's a 10.
It's a 10.
Yeah.
All right. Shrink. You slice into the pumpkin face. It kind of like the sections like an orange that's been pulled apart kind of start to come apart, and you hear it next year, and it slaps its face back together as the wet burlap slams into all of you, and you wake up on the floor of Lilith's estate, the plush red carpet underneath all of you.
All of us, or 3 of them, all of us?
All of you. All 4 of you.
Endor, stop trying to die.
I wanted to know.
Yep. All 4 of your bodies are there.
No, man.
Hazel, I don't know. You're not really conscious of being Hazel anymore. We'll talk between now and the next game.
Did I put a stake in my sister in real life? Because that's what I totally intended to do.
Yeah, you did.
Awesome. So there's a stake sticking out of you.
Yes.
Is the
And
tree
there's this
still
ancient
growing?
primordial just like,
Oh.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I'm at 2 hit points.
Yeah. You're all laying there, and like I said, we that basically it's a kind of you're sort of stirring and waking up, and we'll talk between now and next month.
GB, if you make us find another primordial, wow. Me and Belton have a combined hit point of 5.
Oh, we shall see. I love you guys, and I love this game.
We love you too,
Are you
GB.
sure? Because I feel like you wanted to kill us and end the game, just like tonight.
Just straight up kill us.
Yeah,
No,
he's like, I don't want to deal with
fine.
you guys anymore once a month. I can't do this.
Anyone who saw my other 2 games would know that this Dreadlord is definitely that kind of shyster. So
Yes. All right. So I would like to say thank you, GB, for running this game. Ugh, this is incredible. Thank you. Where can we find you? What do you do?
Graybeard's Tavern. Check my Twitter for my schedule because it's crazy and all that. I will say, show up on Sunday mornings because I have all kinds of fun toys that I like to play with, and we play Darkest Dungeon and or other roguelike craziness where you can be under my you can have a character in the game under those conditions, and I love you, and I'll try to keep you alive. That's me.
Excellent. Thank you. Satan, where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm Satan. You can find me in your deepest, darkest hours. Or on Twitter, at AlyssaVamp. I play a lot of D&D. That's what I do. I got a couple of things going on that I'm going to go through because I'm excited about a couple of them. I play games over at Diamond Berry's channel every other Friday. Here you can find me once a month Wednesdays. Saturday nights I'm playing Tomb of Annihilation with my main crew over at Plot Hunters. I play a buff barbarian, half drow. She's real cool. She doesn't die as easily as we do in this game. And I'm excited to announce that we are planning, and by we I mean Jen is part of that group. It's a new stream of D&D stream. It's gonna be over at the Hype Goblins channel. It's Sundays. It's early. It's in the morning, 8 and 9 o'clock here Eastern Central, and then 2 o'clock your time, Jen. Your time. GMT. I don't
PM.
remember
Yeah, PM, not AM.
that one. Um, and it's gonna be a series of one shots. I'm gonna be taking this group in through a series of one shots that connect into a homebrew world later on. And it's three permanent players, and we're having a new a guest every week. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. If you want, maybe not indoor because it's really early for you.
I'd do it. I'd do it for the views.
Thank you. But yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. It's one main group going through different worlds as if they're like being transported into different alternate realities. So that's gonna be really fun, and I'm gonna be DMing it, and it's gonna be really cool, and I'm very excited for it. And I rambled on long enough, so thank you. Plane chase, yeah, kind of. Yeah. So I'm really
Yeah.
excited. If you can't cash it on because it's so early, we will have YouTube videos and VODs for those who subscribe to the Hype Goblins channel. Subscribe to her channel. She's really awesome.
Hype Gobbo's a good friend of the show. Speaking of good friends of the show, Danae! Where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, everybody. My name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D and a lot of things on this channel. You can find me here on Mondays playing in our homebrew session, our homebrew game as Coriander the Elegant Paladin, and on Tuesdays running Curse of Strahd. And also once a month right here doing Monster Noire. DanaeKeener.com.
Alrighty. And Jen.
Hi, you can find me over at Twitter at LaughMakerDND. I'm playing with Alyssa every Sunday, I guess. Yes, Sunday. Over at the Captain's channel later that Sunday. And then you can find me here every month, once a month, playing Crazy Monster Noir, where we explode and eat each other.
Playing a himbo.
And if you have
it's true.
And if you have made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey fella, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as has been said previously, we do shows like this once a month where we like to get together and just enjoy this dang old Monster Noir. We are going to be heading off into our after show supported by Patreon called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from each other but also from the community at large. So if you liked what you saw, consider joining in on that. Or hey, if you enjoyed hanging out with us, consider joining us on Discord. It's a fun time for fun people, which of course
was so nice.
is all of you guys. So with that, I would like to say once more, GB, thank you so much for running this game. Thank you to these players for putting up with the bullshit once again this week. And we will see all of you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.